Hey there gardeners, quick update on the Birdies Elevated Garden Bed. Now this is the largest one you can buy, 765mm wide and 2.7 meters or 2700mm long. So it is a considerable sized bed. I think it holds about 300 liters. And for soil, we put in a mixture of a quality garden soil plus a fair amount of core and vermiculite and then quite a lot of compost. And so we tried to replicate kind of like a Mel's mix, and we did line the bed with geotextile fabric just to ensure that while it could drain, it wouldn't be draining soil out, because here the rain can either be very, very inconsistent or very, very heavy. And I did not want our bed basically kind of eroding all the soil out. But as far as what we're looking at here, the assembly was quite easy. 2 people would be recommended for one of these big 3-meter long ones. Probably 1 person is plenty for one of the smaller ones, like if you're talking about half the length. This one has 6 legs as well. It does hold an enormous amount of soil, and so the weight capacity does get pretty extreme. Everything's holding together well. We haven't had any issues. The soil is nice and hydrated and moist, so it's holding a lot more weight than if the soil was dry. And obviously, one of the concerns you may have with an elevated garden bed like this is thinking about weather, wind, which even here in our other garden beds, in our ground beds, the wind can really, really dry things out. However, interestingly, this bed here has been much less affected. Now, part of that might be the orientation, which you do need to think about when you're putting a bed in. In summer, like now, the sun orientation is a bit mixed. It runs all the way around and up that hill, and so this bed gets really good sun. In winter, which is when I planned this position for, the sun is mainly from down there up the hill, and so this will be a good winter growing location because it will get good sun, unlike our other beds which are much more shaded and which is just unfortunate. So we're heading into autumn, and we planted most of this in very late summer. Basically, the planting of this bed was not well done at all because, number one, I pre-ordered the bed just a couple of weeks before they were released, and so by the time I got it assembled and all the soil and everything like that, it was towards the end of summer. However, we've had a lot of production from it. The big standout was our cos lettuce, which has done exceptionally well here, and the cos lettuce, you take leaves off and it just keeps growing, so that is perfect. Some of them over the back of the bed there have gone to seed, and I need to take those out, and we're not going to let everything just go to seed in a bed like this because it's fairly contained, and that's not I would say the best idea, because we're not worried about things regrowing naturally. We're going to control the crops that we have in this bed, and there's going to be a couple of seasons of basically just trying things out to see what works well. Now, we've got some silverbeat here, we've got some short beans here. As far as the productivity, the silverbeet's okay. The beans, I would probably prefer something on a trellis in future, or I would grow them over the side of the bed so that they hang down, even though these are only a bush bean, because that's going to give them a little bit better airflow, and it's going to keep the beans off the ground. We've got some basil that's grown very, very successfully here. It's gone really tall to get the sunlight, but there's no dramas there. And then we've got some beetroot and some parsley. The parsley's done okay. It's been a bit overwhelmed by other things. So again, maybe growing that right on the edge would be a better idea. And the beetroot has basically a bit of a fungus issue on the leaves, which either you need to take the leaves off, which is something that I might do, and hopefully the beetroot will keep growing, or you need to treat it with something like I think like a fungicide, like a copper fungicide, which whether you want to use that is up in the air. Down the end, we've got a mouse melon, which is a cucumber melon, and it's just starting to put on those cucumbers now. And so I'm excited to see whether they are edible, because we had one when we first bought it, and it was kind of like a bitter and almost salty little tiny melon. They look like a watermelon, a very small one, and it wasn't that pleasant. So hopefully the ones that are growing now, and it's gone crazy, will be good. And overall, I'm pretty happy. I will say, if we were to do this again, I would definitely change up what we were growing and how we were growing it, and I'd plant things so the deeper and the taller stuff at the back and the shorter stuff at the front to make the most of the light available, and I think that would just get us better results. I'd probably also be a little bit more careful because we are starting to see more and more pest issues, And there's little snails that I'm seeing here this morning, and I'd say that is probably what has been attacking our beans and is now getting into some of the lettuce and even some of the silver beet. So yeah, overall, pretty good. I'm very, very happy overall. It wasn't like this was a full season's growth, it was a couple of months of growth, and it has worked particularly well for mainly discounted seedlings that we just got for $1. So yeah, lots of room for improvement though. Now, obviously, the big question is whether I would consider buying the Birdies Elevated Planter a success or a failure, and I think you can probably quite clearly see that I'm really, really happy with it. I think it's a really great addition to the garden. It works well in this spot. Probably my only real regret is not getting some stones, like some nice paving stones, something that's pretty heavy duty, to put under the legs and leveling them all out, because I was actually looking at the bed and noticed that the bottom end, it's also starting to kind of fall down this downhill. Even though it was flat, just the sheer weight of the bed is pushing it into the ground, and that's a little bit uneven. And if that got extreme enough, the bed could fall over. I don't think it's really a significant issue here, unless things get worse and worse and worse, and our ground is pretty compact. But I can see if you had very, very soft ground, you could have issues, particularly if it's soft but not consistent. But yeah, I reckon basically I spent my own money on this. I did get it for 45% off because that was the special deal they were doing to launch these garden beds, and that makes it a much better proposition value-wise. And I'm cheap and I don't have a lot of money, so again, that was a win for me. And to be honest, I just keep an eye out for the Birdies sales, because it really helps that I can get stuff discounted or a seconds deal or something like that, and it just makes it a bit more affordable for me. Whether I would buy one of these full price is a bit of a harder kind of questions, because obviously that would be quite a struggle to afford, and looking at the outcome, I think I could justify it. It's a fair bit of money. So you need to decide that if you're paying full price. But for me, I really can't complain at all. Would I buy another one if it was discounted? I've thought about it, but we don't really have a great location for it. And I'm still setting up all our IBC self-wicking beds, which are meant to be a cheap option, but the reality is that they are a self-contained bed as well. And when you realistically look at the price and the setup and a lot of the little extras, it doesn't end up that much cheaper than something like this. Maybe when these are full price, it's a different equation, but with 40% off, you'd be surprised at, I would say, how close you end up. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Lots to learn, lots of improvements to do as we use this. Obviously, we need to keep the soil really, really healthy. And so that is going to be kind of the interseasonal challenge, as well as figuring out the best things to grow in here and how to get the most out of it. And realistically, I think when we talk about being self-sufficient, it's really, really easy to think, well, I don't want to be going to the shops at all. However, just saving a little bit of money weekly, even if it's $10 a week over a year from growing your own crops in a bed like this, within a couple of seasons, you'll have so easily paid off the investment that if you're smart, it actually is quite a sound investment. And I know people are going to say, well, just have your garden beds in the ground, you know, it doesn't cost anything. For us, we've done that as well, and it's still not that great a solution. We're still having a lot of dramas, whether it's tree roots getting in and sucking all the moisture and the nutrients out, or just the fact that it's so dry, and there are things I can do to fix that, and that's what we're working on. But this is a surprisingly successful solution, and I think for people with balconies it might be quite a good solution as well. Obviously you need drainage under it. I would not put this inside because it's not designed to have like a single drainage point. It just drains out the bottom, but it is a really, really cool product, and certainly at that introductory pricing, a pretty good deal as well, I would say.